Hey, what's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to go over this build really quick. Fire Staff Great Axe, very popular build with the Abyss Great Axe coming out. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'm rocking a Fire Staff with Lifesteal, Empowering Fireball, Vicious. I converted 40% of my damage to Void damage because I am rocking Void damage on my armor gems and void damage on my ring. I did go with leeching here and lifesteal here. I have never tried it. This is the first time I've ever done that. I don't think it's very significant. I would probably just go with like keenly jagged or keenly empowered here in the fire staff. And on my ring, I would probably just go with mortal empowerment or maybe invigorated punishment. I don't know. The leeching doesn't feel too significant, but every little bit of healing does help a lot as primarily a solo player. So it was worth the test, and I'm just going to keep it for now because I still don't think it's much of a big deal. Keenly empowered would, I think, be best in slot on the fire staff though for those big burnout detonates, which I'll show a little bit of that in this video. So the Abyss Great Axe, we went ahead and put Crippling Reap on there because we do primarily play solo, so that's just great to be able to chase people that are running away from you, and it also does pretty good damage. And I believe with the Crippling Reap perk reduces their movement speed by 50% for 4 seconds, so it's great to be able to hit their Reap, pull them into a lighter, heavy attack into a Maelstrom. Let's go over the armor. I went with a more tanky armor setup with Enchanted Ward. You could do like void damage or say fire damage if you have, you don't convert your damage. Enchanted Ward, Shirking Heals, obviously, 5 of those. Shirking Energy on the pants, pretty standard. Went with a couple of health on here. We are rocking the Featherweight, which we added Shirking Heals to. And with 200 con, we're looking at 1400 physical resist and almost 1300 elemental resist. This is almost as much resistance as a medium armor player. So build feels really, really tanky in light armor. You can dive right into clumps for the most part to pull off your burnout Deado, bar swap into a maelstrom, bar swap back, kind of roll dodge, throw a pillar of fire, fireball on top if you need to. The 200 con does give 10% more increase to your physical and elemental armor. So that's going to bring your max value with the featherweight to just give you that good tankiness as a solo player. And then obviously the shirking heals for the massive heals on that. Enchanted Ward, I like it. You can feel it. But I find myself taking the most damage from a lot of dots right now. Like all of the AoE bow players. Obviously Fire Staff. So I would like to try Vigor over Enchanted Ward to get a 60% cooldown on how long those dots last on me. Not sure yet. Obviously, you have to craft that, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to test that anytime soon, as it is very, very expensive right now. On the amulet, um, stam recovery, obviously standard health, thrust protection, so using this from Season 2. But like I said, leeching, was testing that out, feels okay. Void damage to buff our Great Axe like we have on our gems with void damage, so that's going to buff our Great Axe even more because I wanted to play more of a brawler melee type of fire staff. And obviously that's going to buff our augmented abyssal and the fire staff here as 40% of our damage is now converted into void. And the earring, healthy toast, refreshing toast, regenerating pretty standard. Refreshing toast and healthy toast being the most important of the three. Um, the attributes that I'm working with right now are 25 dex for 5% more crits, 350 int getting the 10% ability damage, 25 focus for a 5% ability cooldown, and then at the moment 204 constitution, making sure that we get that 10% more physical and elemental armor to buff our resist that we get from using the featherweight, um, which a quick explanation of that for the people that don't know, this featherweight artifact makes your chest piece weightless, so that allows you to run a heavy helmet, heavy boots, and then light gloves, light pants. I believe that you can run heavy helmet, heavy gloves, heavy boots. One of those three have to be light, I believe, and then any of those two can be heavy. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I was told. The weapon attributes, I'll just go over that really quick. You take a screenshot or pause the video, take a look at it, but it's nothing special, pretty standard here. This ability here, being kind of reflex, I think all of these other ones are pretty much needed. So you could mess around with this one. You could run Helios here, or maybe make your heavy attacks not cost mana anymore. Hop into the Great Axe here. Um, all pretty standard stuff, I believe. Sometimes I do play Execute here. It's a lot of fun. With this build, Execute will hit a lot of light armor players for about 9 to 10k when you have them below. I think it's 30% health or 50% health. Yeah, increase crit chance. Yeah, something gets buffed there on the lower health targets. So you see a lot of 9, 10k executes, which feels great. Um, Down below is going to be I'm going to have my link for some gameplay. It was just one night of OPR, nothing too crazy, but you can kind of see how I um, have some 1vx fights. It's great for solo fighting. Like 1v1s, it's great in some of your smaller fights where you get into like some 2v2, 3v3 situations, or if you're fighting outnumbered, 2v3, 2v4, you know, you can constantly fight at range. Uh, Streak right on in with your burnout into a maelstrom, kite right back out of that. You can chase your opponents down with bloodlust from the great axe, pull them in with reach, slow them, beat their faces in, just left click them. So this build I put together, I don't think this build is definitely not the best at range damage. It's definitely not the best for melee. But what this build is really great at, it allows you to play in any PvP situation and provide great value. So you can always pump out damage from range. You can pump out damage in melee. You have a ton of AoE damage. You have great single target damage. Again, the tankiness just allows you not to have to kite constantly. The burnout detonates into a maelstrom. Provide huge value in your clump fights. You'll see in the link below. I just one night some of the kills I got in just huge clump fights, and playing like that you can't really do it in other light armor builds. You're definitely going to die a lot faster in other builds that are squishier, say 100 or 150 con that aren't using the featherweight, but as a solo player we do like the featherweight with the 200 con for the big resistances that we get. And obviously we do get Zerg down a lot, fight outnumbered a lot, so that's just going to allow us to stay aggro in the fights also, so that allows you to pump out more damage, just not having to kite all the time and constantly worry about being, you know, hit 2 more times and you're dead when you're on pop cooldown. So the build's been a lot of fun. It allows me to hop in Outpost Rush 3v3s by myself. I can constantly provide value, whether it be a clump fight, whether it be a small fight on the back cap, and I could pretty much just W key in light armor. I've never felt so tanky in light armor. It feels great. I love being able to play a fire staff in melee range and provide so much melee DPS, and the mobility too feels pretty close to the rapier fire staff. So a lot of mobility, very fast, a lot of damage, AoE, single target. This build just feels like it has it all, which I like. So I don't like to play a certain style where you're playing a very squishy bow and you're sitting in the back and you're just shooting over your Zerg. That gets the one-dimensional gameplay. Gets very boring. I don't like playing just strictly melee where you at range there's nothing you can do from range. It's not my play style. So this build definitely, if you're looking for an all-around build that can provide just really high value in PvP at all times, I think this is going to be one of the better builds, especially because the Abyss is just hitting so hard right now. It scales very high with Ent. So I think down below I'm going to have a link for some of the gameplay on just one night of OPR. You can see how I'm just kind of brawling on the light armor mage. It's a lot of fun. So that being said, like, subscribe. See you guys around. I appreciate your time. Thank you. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.